Hey guys, what's up? It's Bassrock here with part 2 of the mixdown and mastering. Actually, this is part 3 technically because the fundamentals part was part 1. Forgot to apologize earlier. Sorry for the sound again. My sound card has something weird going on with it, so it won't let me record direct sound. But this will have to do. Hopefully, you can at least get the theory out of it and use that. Apply it to your own songs and see how it helps. So we've got these elements here of the track that we've EQ'd so far. So we're gonna start with EQing here. Compression. What compression does is it takes the quietest sound and it brings it up. And how it does that is, this will actually be a nice little visual representation. It has a limit, so to speak. We could bring that. Actually, we'll bring this up. It has a limit. This green bar here is the limit. So anything, you can bring it up as much as you want, and it's not going to go past that. So let's be extreme. And so we don't want to compress that too much. It's not going to help us too much. If there was other information down here, it might. So we've got some higher frequency information that's bringing up. And for the chords, we actually, I don't know how much pluck these chords have. If these chords have a lot of pluck, it'll take some of the pluck out so they're not so harsh. I guess we'll find out here. But what this will do is it'll chop off some of these little things that are sticking up without making it too much quieter, really. So that's a nice little balance there, I think. And then the kick drum. This is an important one. So how you EQ a kick, I keep saying EQ. How you compress a kick drum. We should talk about the attack and release. The attack is how fast the compressor picks up the sound. So it's already pretty compressed. So it's going to be picking up the attack of the kick drum. 3 milliseconds is a nice setting for attack because it allows the kick drum to punch through a little bit before the compressor picks it up. Release is tricky. You want, essentially, what I've noticed is you want faster release times for more bass because, as we talked about before in waveform properties, lower frequencies have longer wavelengths, and so they take longer to develop fully. And so if that releases up, it'll be picking up more of that bass, of those bass waves as they're developing. And so you want to have that release time up. I've got this at around 400 milliseconds. That's really long, but believe it or not, it takes some bass waves that long to develop, especially sub-bass. And so that's really important, especially when you're mixing and mastering. You're going to want to have release times up, and you want the attack. You want about a midway attack so that it can pick up that kick drum again. And I am talking about mastering here. For the longest time, I couldn't get bass in my mixes, and I realized it's because I had the release all the way up here, and so that was giving me some problems. But here we have this kick drum, assuming it's properly EQ'd. And then I'm just going to go over a little mastering plugin that I love to... What is this? Oh, it's just a thing. A little mastering plugin called Ozone that I love to use. You can go pick this up from Isotope. You know what? Let's bring that back up again. It's nice because it has some little presets here. So 1 mids, excitation, exiters, aural exiters are originated from studio outboard gear. They're used for actually adding frequencies or emphasizing them as well. And then tape saturation. Tape is good because analog tape is known for being really warm, and it just gives you this detail that you can't live without. So if I were to careful on the loudness because it'll distort. You know what, I'm just going to cover one more thing, because this technically is part of compression, and that is sidechaining. Let's actually do two sidechaining here, 2 sidechains here. Let's just do the bass, because that's, everybody knows what a kick drum sidechain does. Okay, I want a compressor. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be linking to a controller, which you can do this in Fruity Loops. You can do it in any program. It's in the ratio up. I generally don't go past 2. And that really helped, you can hear. I don't have to cue this as heavily now. And what this does is essentially the peak is being applied to the bass, and then the chords here are going to be looking at this peak controller, and the compressor is saying, hey, when I'm getting signal here from the bass, I'm going to duck the threshold on the compressor of the chords so that essentially the peaks are being reduced. And so that way it's making room for the bass line, literally every time the bass line hits. And it's doing, because it's monitoring this invertly. And you can do that for the kick so that the kick will punch through. But so what I'd want to do now is just say, hey, let's put a peak controller on here. And let's just put that on the bass, because the bass is just totally hammering this mix as a whole. Let's put that on the peak, monitor it invertly. Turn it up to about 2.6 actually. You can do that with a kick drum. And it's not perfect, but everything requires some fine-tuning. But that basically is how you EQ and press everything to get it to fit in the mix. Thanks for watching, guys, and keep looking for my stuff on Beatport, and as I always say, follow my shit.